We're going to hear from Gavin Nolan, the Binders manager, a little bit later, and we do have Owen Larkin and Colin Keeling to play out as well. But we're now joined on the show by Clíodhna Ní Shé. Clíodhna, how's things? How are you keeping? Thanks for coming on so soon after training.
Hi, Kevin. How are you? Not too bad.
Thanks
for having me.
Come here. We have to say a very well done and congratulations. That is an incredible tally, and to do it across 3 grades as well. You must have been absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I was absolutely thrilled. Like, it was really good to have done it from a junior team across all grades, especially not to have even reached the final. You know, it was very disappointing not to reach the final, but it was nice to have some sort of excitement on the day for myself anyway.
Yeah, so 9-19 I think it was, and 5 games. So I'm not very good at maths. Joe's a teacher. He might be a Woodward teacher, but we'll see what the maths is like as well.
I need a ruler. It's around 2-4. It's nearly 10 points a game. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. Serious going. In fairness to you,
it's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I suppose now I can tell already, and I know a little bit about you, that you're an incredibly modest person, and you'd probably even hate the fact that you have to come on this podcast, but we do appreciate the fact that you have done so. But yeah, where does this kind of score and breeze come from? Do you take it all in your stride? What type of player do you see yourself as? I mean, you seem very chilled about everything.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't get too nervous before games usually, and I've kind of taken frees for most of my life, and I practice them a good bit, so I don't find that I get that nervous usually during games. Even if I am a little bit nervous before the game, once it gets going, then it's like any other game. Like even the All-Ireland semi-final wouldn't really have bothered me too much, that it was such an important game. Kind of try to do the same routine every morning before a game, eat the same thing and do the same routine, so that's all kind of feels normal.
That's a great way to be, because a lot of people go through their entire careers, and Niamh Dobbs would be a great example. She spoke to us on the Left Wing Back podcast on the My Time in the Gansey series, and she said she just struggled incredibly bad with nerves, had played the game 10 times over in her mind before she even stepped out, and used up a lot of nervous energy. But to have that naturally is a great asset to have, and I'm sure you obviously appreciate that too, that maybe some people aren't as lucky to just be able to take it all in their stride.
Well, it's easy. In fairness, it's easy enough to say that when things are going well for you. But yeah, no, I kind of find that I enjoy it. Try to enjoy it as much as I can, like not to concentrate on how important it is or anything like that. Just try to enjoy playing, and then it kind of takes away a bit of the nerves.
The interview was the very same yesterday, actually. Just looking at it on TG Cahir, just in terms of just grand and chilled, camera in front of the face, national TV audience. And what I was really impressed was the name dropping of the sponsors as well, which was a very wise thing to think of at a very, I suppose, pressuresome time.
Yeah, well, in fairness to us this year, especially, like, we got to keep our jersey after the semi-final, which is first jersey I've ever gotten to keep from playing football all my life and playing for the county all my life, whereas I think some lads could have 5 or 6 jerseys. So it's really good to have good sponsors on board that are interested in us. Like, they were definitely watching the matches and at the matches and stuff. So huge thanks to More Environmental and Jock Donovan and IT Carlo for all the sponsorship. No, seriously though, they have been really, really good to us this year. And it does make a huge difference. Like, you wouldn't think, but like, it would make a huge difference to the players kind of having that support from the sponsors and stuff like that, just knowing that they're backing us and that they want us to do as well as we can and are willing to help us like reach higher goals.
Yeah, absolutely, because in fairness, I think in a lot of men's sports we take a lot of things for granted, and some things that maybe the men's county teams give out about, if they knew half of what the poor old women had to go through over the last, I don't know how many years, they'd be saying, geez, we should be a bit more grateful. Like, so you're saying there, even that simple thing that struck me was the fact that it's the first jersey you got to keep. Like, those are things you'd nearly be taken for granted that they'd happen for you every year, like, you know. So it seems that there's been great strides made this year, as you mentioned. The sponsors obviously come on board and there's good organisation and that. But there's probably a little bit to go still, Clíodhna, is there?
Definitely, yeah. But with I don't know if you saw, there was the government agreed to equal funding for male and female GA players. So that's huge for us anyway, because even I'm sure some of the other counties would have more funding than we would. But this year we had a nutritionist on board and a sports psychologist. And like, that's the first time that we've had these supports with us. And it really makes a huge difference too. It depends on the person how much you want to like participate in these things, but like, I found that the nutrition advice definitely made a difference, like, to my game. And it's the little things like that that can really bring you on and kind of help us all raise our game.
And there are probably little things that maybe might make a club player decide whether or not they'll actually go in and play for the county as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like if you're getting these huge benefits, and even you can bring that back to your club mates then, and you're coming back having had your eyes open to kind of a better setup and stuff like that, definitely would encourage more players to come in. And when the setup is good and there's good facilities and stuff like that.
And talk to us about the year as a whole then. So, I mean, the one thing that sticks out was obviously the roller coaster of a semi-final when you obviously came so close. That was just a mad game. But in general, how do you feel the year went? And maybe talk us through, give us a flavour of it.
Well, it was very enjoyable anyway. As I was saying, like the setup was really good. We had good strength and conditioning, good physio at every training, which is something we couldn't have said every year. But it was so good to just be back playing. And the junior championship, the way it ran this year was like there was a group of 5. So we had 4 games regardless of how we did, which I found was really good because you just want to be playing matches, and especially with kind of the club championship in Carlow, sometimes there wouldn't be that many games or that many matches. So it's really good to be playing, competitive games week in, week out. And every game we played was very competitive. Obviously, it was very disappointing. We played Antrim in our first match and drew, lost after extra time, so that was really upsetting. And then we played Wicklow, but that was a close enough game as well. And there was a 15 minutes after half time in the Wicklow game, like we came back. I think we scored like 2-2 or 2-3 without reply, and it really changed the season for us. Kind of just showed us that what we're doing is working, and like that we have the ability to do well in this group. And then obviously went and then beat Derry by a point, which kind of gave us we were nearly sure we'd be into an All-Ireland semi-final. And then we went out and played like a brilliant game against Limerick, and it was just so, like, I really, really enjoyed it and playing with the girls. And it was really nice to see that, like, all the work that we were putting in and all the work the management team was putting in, that we were getting better and better with every game. Then obviously huge disappointment and devastated to lose to Antrim after extra time in the semi-final, but don't think we could have given any more. Like, everybody did everything they could, and you could see like we were all coming up with cramp at the end of extra time, because it was just, we did everything we could and it just didn't go our way on the day. But definitely loads to build on, and hugely looking forward to next year.
Yeah, huge progress. I'd say if you could have played that game again, or maybe next year's championship 2 or 3 days later kind of a thing, you'd nearly be saying, right, like, we have so much progress made, we've so much to bring forward into next year, can we get going now, sort of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like we had so much momentum, and it was weird. It was definitely very hard the first Tuesday after the Antrim match not to be going down to Milford for training again. It kind of didn't feel like it was real that it was over, but yeah, it was very, very good year.
Yeah, and now you're back with the club. That's obviously where you were this evening. What's preparations like there?
Yeah, going well. We're training this evening, and we have our first championship match against Fenna on Saturday. So yeah, looking forward to that. It was weird. We actually had been nearly over a year since we had played with the club. Just the way that last year's county season fell, and then this year we were only in with the county as well. So it was really nice to get back with the girls and back training hard.
Obviously, you've developed a very strong rivalry with All Auckland over the last 5-6 years or whatever. So I'm sure that's going to be the main rivals again. There's some pretty good teams out there in general, but yeah, there's been brilliant battles in fairness. And I don't think there's actually a whole lot between the two of you.
No, well, the last few county finals have been very tough. They've obviously come out on top, the last 3 of them. But yeah, it will be a huge battle again. So yeah, looking forward to that in a few weeks.
And can I just ask, how many years have you been actually playing senior? Because I know you're only 21, I think, are you?
Yeah, 21. I'll be 22 next week.
You've played what? Have you played 5 or 6 years? Probably senior already.
This will be my 7th year. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's mad stuff. Like, and even Jesus, yeah. Like, if you look at it, Joe, in fairness, if you look at the men's game, if you're playing senior for 7 years, you're 25, 26 probably.
Yeah.
Now in the modern stuff, like, so.
Yeah, it's
crazy stuff. So in that period then, Clíodhna, like, what have you kind of learned in that? Is it more so, you've obviously got physically stronger as well, you've probably a bit more to go, you're still very young, like, but was that a big eye-opener, or what's your big learnings over the last years since you've been playing senior?
Well, I think the main thing that is that, like, the standard in general of ladies football, like in Carlow, and I don't know if you watched the finals yesterday, like, everywhere it's just improved. Like, it's phenomenal. Because I played my first year senior. I was 15 playing, and I wouldn't have been. Well, I probably was one of the smallest, but I wouldn't have stood out as being the youngest or anything like that. There was a lot of girls my age, born the same year as me, playing as well. Whereas now, I feel like the standard is improving, and you might have one or two minors on your team, and the rest will be adult and playing for years. Definitely found that people are physically stronger. The strength and conditioning involved, even in the clubs, is huge. So I think the standard of ladies football across the whole of Ireland and has really, really improved even in the last few years since I've been playing.
Yeah, must be. Go on, yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. No, just a point on that about Carlow football. I'll hold my hand up. I suppose I've a young girl, and she's playing under 11 this year with Fenna, and I was just gobsmacked. Apart from the standard of footballers, but the amount now playing. Say even Fenna at that age group, I think at under 11 they had 20 something players. We played the Fighting Cocks in our semi final, and they had massive number of players. They played St. Anne's in the final. We played Burn in our Shield final. There's all the other clubs, Bagnallstown. You've Aerogue, you've the Towntals, Bennekerry. It's just blossoming now in Carlow, and that must be exciting, because I know you're 22 or whatever, and like there's plenty more years there, and you're going to see hopefully. You're going to see the benefits of those numbers coming through, and hopefully be playing with yourself, Clíodhna, in the next couple of years. That must kind of excite you and drive you on and keep you going as well, to see the underage kind of coming good as well. It must hearten the players to keep them going as well, because you know that the talent coming underneath is going to really drive things maybe to another level as well, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some amount of numbers in under 12. I think we had 2 teams this year, and even for the first year, our club has an under 8 and under 10 team. Where I wouldn't have had. First time I played with the girls would have been when I was playing under 12. So brilliant to see that so many girls involved, and hopefully, I know there's the LGFA are definitely really trying hard to keep people involved. That age group when they usually kind of drop off. But yeah, it's great to see so many girls playing ladies football.
Well, it was the big. Just to say as well, Kevin. Sorry again to go across you.
You're not going across me at all.
It was actually the biggest crowd I have seen at a match this year. Full stop. Was at the 2 finals of the under 12. Sorry, the Shield we were playing on called the bottom pitch in the training centre, and the top match was the Fighting Cocks against St. Anne's, and I can't remember the score, but I know I'm fairly sure the Fighting Cocks lost on a scoreline. The score 3-11, which for a relatively short-sighted game, and and with girls growing as well, and sometimes yourself at that age group it can be the scores can be low. It was incredible. And I got to see some of it after our game. There was a little bit of a delay in the matches, and I got to see some of it, and the standard was amazing, absolutely amazing. But the crowd, the support was brilliant as well too. I know you have lots of parents there, but it was the biggest crowd, literally bar none, I've seen, even at our inter-county game, even at the senior semi or the senior matches in Dr. Cullen last week. The crowd wasn't the same. Absolutely all around the fence was packed. And I think that support is brilliant to see. I think, at the National League games as well, the support is growing as well. And I think all that's going to make the game, healthier. And, and like what Clíodhna said there as well, the expertise that's now flowing into the game is brilliant. And, I think it's just brilliant. And I'm hoping that all these clubs in Carlow keep it going, because it'll be exciting times for the senior football team,
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with you. There was huge crowds at our games as well. Like, even there was great support. Travelled to Dunleer and Louth to see our semi-final, and even all our group games, we had huge support. And it's so nice as a player to hear everyone cheering you on. Like, it really does drive you on the pitch. So yeah, it is really good to see.
Definitely. If you actually, I'm after mentioning Niamh Dobbs already, but if you go back and listen or look at that episode and you hear what she said about, was she on the lads team under 14 or something? I think under 14 lads. I don't know if they had a team, and then there was either play with O'Loughlin or play with nobody at one stage, and she ended up playing up here in Clíodhna. And you look at that now and what you just said, if that's not a real sign of progress, I don't know what is. So if we can kind of harness that, and keep with it, we're going places, in fairness, Clíodhna, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. The underage setup in Carlow has definitely gotten better, and there's huge talent coming up. So very exciting to see. And it's great to have, there's so many young girls involved in the county teams. I know I remember some days we'd be struggling to have 15 on some of our county teams when we were younger. Whereas now I know they're holding nearly trials. There's so many people trying to be involved, which is what you want everyone to striving to be on the county team. So yeah, really exciting going forward.
Do you mind me asking, Clíodhna, having Milford as a base, is that a good thing to kind of have a kind of a home, I suppose, maybe for years sometimes, and I suppose like G8, like all county teams maybe up to a while, we're kind of wandering from club to club, but is it nice for to have that home that maybe when you started out that, venues were chopping and changing in terms of training and stuff like that. Does that kind of, like you said,
definitely.
Is that one more thing kind of nailed down for you?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I should have mentioned that earlier. It was really nice. This was the first year that we actually had a proper base, and we were guaranteed a good pitch, a good GA pitch, every night for training, and it really relieved stress of trying to get texting everyone trying to find a club pitch we could have like an hour before training. So yeah, we were really lucky there now to have Milford, and it was always kept, like, it was always in great condition. So yeah, it was really nice to know exactly where you were training, and we didn't have to change our times or our nights if it would never clash to anyone. So yeah, it was huge to have that this year. It was really good, and also on a personal level, it's like less than 5 minutes from my house, so that was a benefit for me.
Is there actually anything to be said for making that, like, I don't know if Milford have plans to come back or not, and it would be great to see him back in a club level, but could that be like a hub for, say, ladies football? I know the Camogie team are out there as well, but it wouldn't be the worst idea, would it?
I think all the ladies are, like, the ladies football and the Camogie and underage and all are out there. Yeah, it's great facilities to have, and it's really good to see that we're utilising it, because I think there were a few years there wasn't much going on there. So yeah, it's really, really good to have. We're really lucky to have such a good pitch that we have access to whenever we need. Just
before we finish up as well, so we have a number of officials going places as well. Marion Hayden, Johnny Murphy, Liam Mullins, all making waves. So that's obviously a very positive thing as well.
Yeah, really is to have such a good quality officials in the county, because sometimes you'd find if the refs or the officials, don't know the rules or aren't up to scratch, you go to county and you don't know what you're doing wrong and you're giving away too many frees and stuff like that. So we're really lucky to have the likes of Marion and Johnny and Leah up there. I think they were in Croke Park yesterday, so it's really good to have them. So good for the county, and even for if they're ref and underage matches, like, to have the rules explained, because when I was younger I probably didn't even know the rules properly. So yeah, we're really lucky to have them in the county.
Well, Joe, any last question for Clíodhna before we let her go?
Oh, I again, just to congratulate her on her wonderful achievement. She's going to be a huge role model now for the underage in the county. It's brilliant that our players are getting recognition, on the national stage for their incredible, they're like, that's just incredible. Like, you're averaging 9-10 points a game. Jesus, that's incredible. I wouldn't say I scored that in my whole career, or Kevin there either between us. Never mind
Definitely
one. It's just incredible, and
that's hurling and football.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just like, it's brilliant to have role models, like, because that's what when people and young people now see, people, your reward, and you getting your reward, and you're on social media, and we know young people now are on social media. Even my children at that age are kind of looking at little things, and it's brilliant to see that, and they make the connection then with the ladies football and the Carlo, and we kind of are battling along. We're battling along for recognition across all levels, and it's brilliant that you're getting it, and fully deserved. And fair play to you. It's brilliant to see it.
Thanks, William.
Sorry. Listen, Clíodhna, thanks for coming on the Left Wing Back podcast. It's great to have you on. Well done again. Unbelievable achievement, and we'll chat to you again soon. All right.
Thanks a million. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Okay. Clíodhna Ní Shé. Incredible. 9:19. Absolutely incredible. And one comment I'd have to make there as well, you would not think that girl is 21. Her head is just so screwed on. She's so calm, so articulate, and going serious places. Yeah, brilliant. It's great to see, isn't it? Like, I mean, and that should be, like, her achievement should be absolutely, I won't say plastered over everywhere, but it should be really, it's a massive tool to promote not only her own individual achievement, which is incredible, but to promote things, you know what I mean? It's great. It's great on the national stage. The Carlo and Carlo ladies are right up there, and like I said, only for maybe a kick of a ball, that they could have been thereabouts in their own final as well. But look, hopefully next year they'll build on it. And it's great to see as well that good spot, like, they have their sponsors on board. Like, we've Corcoran's there tonight up in the top corner, and it's brilliant that
the what do you call it, that their facilities and so on are being up, and you know, it brings them on, like, and it's great. The Milford thing, I think, is a massive plus, and I think, as far as I know, Kevin, I think I don't think there's any plans at the minute to reform Milford, and I think it kind of goes. I think it goes under the stewardship of the GA or something like that. I can't remember the playing area or whatever. But isn't it better that than, you know? Isn't it better to be creative with it and its uses, and to reuse it for its purpose with lovely dressing rooms there, rather than it kind of letting it go to, you know, going to nothing, or going to seed or whatever, you know? So it's great. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved, you know.
Look, not to be putting on my auctioneer's hat, right, but like, centralized location, easy for everyone to get to, decent pitch, late as well, yeah. Is it late? I think it could be.
So I think there could be training lights on it, yeah.
There's definitely some sort of lights on anyway. I don't know if they're game spec standard or whatever, but
no, I don't think they are. But I think yeah. But it's brilliant, isn't it? Like, and
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And you look at the hardship, the squabbling that poor old ladies teams do have to do to try to get pitches, like.
Yeah,
you know, it is a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. So that would be fantastic if it could work out. But yeah, there we go. Clíodhna Ní Shé.